Not sure who else is coming, but I want to just say welcome. Thank you for coming out today. Happy National French Fry Day. It's an important day. Sorry we didn't have any French fries. Nobody was open to make them yet. I'd like to go around and just make some introductions. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know. We've got some Habitat staff here with us. So maybe we'll start with Julie and just kind of go around the room.
Morning, everybody. I'm Julie Romine. I'm the Senior VP of Programs. I work with both aging in place, administrative, mortgage services side, and grants.
Jim Boring, Inside Home Inspections. I work with aging in place.
I'm Sharon Hyde. I'm Green all the time. We work together with the older adult home life.
Rick Living.
Brandon Dale from Dale's Inspection.
Jim McBride, Cowboy with Branch Supply.
Marty Green, being in Enterprises, waiting to establish something.
J.D. Williams, the right shoulder, the old shoulder, guarantee you pay. Jimmy Weatherly with 101 Mobility.
Fred Jones with State Industries.
Dylan Bid from Private Construction Home Services.
Bill Valley, Taylor, and then his contact.
Luke Maddox, Next Group, Reliable, Affordable, and Market. Tom Nathan, also Next Group.
Luis, who runs it with Agro Construction.
I'm Luke Gibson, I'm the grant manager here at Habitat.
Luke Bruce from
Caesar Laura, Nation Home Builders. Albedo Pineda, National Home Builder. Elvin Jenkins,
Bruce Wagner, I'm one of the site supervisors for AIP.
Stacey Davis, CFO in contact.
What's going to be the other site supervisor?
Lori Umber, Chief Operating Officer.
And that is administration for new homes and AIP. The person you sent all of your paperwork to.
Second, Gaffer with the city method.
And Lloyd is our IT guru. He set up all this stuff. Nothing would work if I did it. I'm Ted Pappas. I'm the director of the repair program. Again, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come out and be with us on the day of the meeting. Why are we meeting? Well, part of it is it's a requirement, but the other part is we get to meet every once in a while just to go over expectations and just kind of show everybody what we do. You know, I look at aging in place as kind of a mission that we're out helping seniors in our community that would not otherwise have the opportunity to be helped. So for us, it's really, we look at it as a mission that we're really serving our community. We're giving back to it. It's an opportunity to do some really interesting and wonderful things for seniors. I've not had any of our homeowners after a project come up and say, I wish I'd have never done it. Everybody, we've done a tub to shower or grab bars. Nobody's ever come back and said, gosh, I wish I hadn't put grab bars in. Most people are like, I didn't know how much I needed them until they went in. The roof's not leaking anymore. They've got a ramp to get in and out of the home safely and with dignity, as opposed to trying to cobble something together that's not safe. So all of the work we do makes a tremendous impact. For those that are not aware, we actually do surveys with our homeowners at 3 months, 6 months, a year, and I believe 3 years to find out what the real impact is. And at some point, I'll try to get those statistics and I'll try to forward them to you, just so you guys get to kind of see what we're looking at. That some of the comments and statistics of how many people we've helped and some of the things we've done in the community. A little bit about the application process. Most of you have gone through and submitted your paperwork. Ann jokes about sending it in. She's the one that has to try to keep up with all of the different dates of expirations. And some days she comes in and goes, I don't know why they can't just all be the same. It's like, that would be too easy. And we appreciate your patience and your I guess tenacity in trying to track everybody down. So Ann calls you and says she needs something. She really does need it. We got to get all your paperwork in line. If we don't have everything current, we can't pay you for the work. We can't give you work. If we can't give you work, you can't get paid. So if she's calling, that means something is ready to expire and she's trying to give you a heads up. So help her out, help yourself out, get your stuff in. When you don't turn it in, then she comes to me and says, can you call them? So if I'm calling you, that means we need to get it in. I think let's take a look at our PowerPoint. This is a little bit about what we do. We have two different programs. We're going to see it here. Get where I can actually see what we're looking at. So we actually have two separate programs. We have the affordable mortgages, new home construction. Some of you may actually work on the new construction side. We build new homes for first-time home buyers. And I say home buyers, we do not give away homes. I don't know where that misnomer came from, but it's not a very good business model to build homes and give them away free. We sell our homes at market value, 30-year mortgage. The advantage that our Habitat homeowners have is at 0%. Yep. So 0%. And the other part is most of you are here working the aging in place. We work in the homes of our seniors to give them a safe place to live. Our mission is pretty simple. And I say build communities of hope by keeping homeowners in their home. That's helping the community. We don't have a bunch of empty homes. Putting our homes, a lot of our homes are built on vacant land. We're infill in the city. We're now putting homeowners into vacant areas, bringing back a community to a place that once had one is gone. We're also bringing back taxpayers to the city and the county. And a world where everyone has a decent place to live. I think that should be a goal for all of us to kind of follow through. Our home buying, it talks a little bit about the application. We won't spend a lot of time, but I do want you to realize that we have another branch of Habitat. There are some information, we go through the next slide. These are the homes that we build. 3 to 5 bedrooms, 2 baths. All of our Habitat homes are handicap adaptable. We have built several handicap homes for our handicapped homeowners. Low energy, building to eco-build standards. We cut down on the utility bill. And basically they're move-in ready. They have appliances, everything. They basically folks can move in. Next slide. These are some examples of the homes. You can see they're pretty nice looking homes. Next slide. These are the interiors, and I'm going to say these are actually some of the older interiors. Habitat is moving in a direction of white shaker cabinets, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances. This one actually has the updated LVP flooring. When I started the Habitat, we were putting in sheet vinyl and carpet. We're upgrading as we go, just trying to keep current with the times. Aging in place, that's why we're all here. That's my passion. We provide no-cost repairs and modifications to our qualified older homeowners, meet income and age guidelines. We've helped over 1,300. I think this is probably an older stat, but we're probably closer to 1,500 at this point. In Shelby and Fayette counties, when we had a statewide program, we worked in Fayette County. A couple of you in the room probably went out and worked in Fayette County for us. It's a nice little drive in the country. AIP needs in Shelby County. 1 in 5 of our seniors live in poverty. That's a true statistic. Shelby County actually leads the state in the poverty level. And since the program was started in 2015, we've repaired more than 7,900 homes, which is a huge impact in the community. We can't do that without you. You're the backbone of the program. Our funding sources, we have a lot of different funding sources. Sharon Hyde and Green and Healthy Homes is one of our funders through HUD. We get to do older adult modifications with that. City of Memphis is one of our major funders. We appreciate them giving us their funds and the confidence to do some work. Affordable Housing Program, AHP, Carol Peterson, and Financial Federal, just to name a few, and we're always looking for more. Julie wrings her hands over trying to find some different funding sources. I'm glad I don't have to do what she does. Work and expectations. These are some of the work. We do roofing. A lot of our projects are roofing. Accessibility, ramps, grab bars, handrails, ADA toilets, plumbing replacement, repair, subfloor, weatherization. We don't do a lot of cosmetic work. We're actually starting to do more than we ever did when I started. We're painting rooms and exteriors of homes. All of you are professional contractors and tradespeople. The expectations are to be prompt, courteous, adjust to work with older clients. Anybody that's worked with older clients knows that they have schedules. Doctor appointments are golden. They don't move those for anybody. And they need to see the prices right at 10 o'clock. These are some examples of work that we do. On the left is a low step shower with grab bars and handheld. That was done in a home. On the right, we see this is actually an extraordinarily long ramp, but the gentleman in this particular home was in a wheelchair and had no way to get in and out of his home. So we provided a ramp to get him in and out. Roofing work. When we talk about roofing, we talk about a full system. Those that have done roofing know that. We talk about cornice, fascia. This is an example of the type of work when we say cornice. This home, I believe, had almost all of the cornice on the home replaced and painted. We talk about framing, decking and framing. If you look on the left, you can see an example of a home that definitely has some structural issues. We talked about framing. We tore the entire roof off, reframed it to make it right. So this is an extreme example. This is rare. We usually don't play very well with these. They're just usually too expensive. This is what we're talking about when we say decking and rafters. This is an extreme example, but it can be this involved. This is a home that had, clearly it had some leaking issues. It was so old that the tarp on it was gone. This is a before photo. And we have the after work. We can see that we have a roof that's not leaking. The homeowner now has a roof that she doesn't have to worry about for at least 30 years. And I don't think I'll be here when that fails. Other things we do, HVAC systems. This home actually was a 2-story home, had 2 units. Both of them were replaced. Neither one worked. To live in a home with no heating and air conditioning in Memphis, I'm not sure how you would do that. These are the outside condensers. Water heaters are a big thing we do. Most of the older homes we have, the water heaters are marginal at best. A lot of them don't work. We replace gas and electric water heaters. Windows are a big part of our program, replacement windows. That's part of the weatherization. Work procedures. Okay, this is important. Once you're assigned a work order, there's well, this is actually at the end of certificate of completion by the homeowner once the work is done. We're asking not to have that something, everything is completed. A photo of every item is required. Sometimes we get a little lax on that. Let's make sure we have photos of every item that's on the work order. Inspection stickers are required. When we're doing roofing projects, all the pipe boots, including water heater and furnace, need to be replaced with new. Decking, we need to see good photos of decking before the underlayment is down, and rafters if those are replaced as well. We do climb into attics. We've been seeing some broken rafters lately, so let's kind of give that a real good once over. I would say for decking, if it looks marginal and the roof is torn off, go ahead and replace it. It's a lot easier to do it when the roof is stripped as opposed to going back trying to repair it after the roof is on it. Inspections from Habitat are scheduled once all your paperwork and invoices are submitted. Delays in paperwork will delay payment and inspection. Corrections are required to be completed prior to the payment being released. Delays in corrections could delay your payment. We've added in a requirement that when we're replacing tub shower valves and things, that a plumbing permit is required, water heaters require a permit, HVAC requires a permit. So we need to get that permit. It needs to be passed before the work is ready for inspection. Common inspection failures, and I know some of these seem kind of trivial, but hot and cold supply lines are reversed on the water, on a sink replacement. Toilet supply has not been changed. Toilet's not secured. It rocks. It's not caulked all the way around the base. This is a big one. Water heater furnace vent does not have 1 inch of clearance to the wood roof decking. That's a fail. It's a pain in the neck to do that. It would be easy to correct that when the roof is stripped off. Something to keep track of. Again, rafters are something we're seeing some more issues with. These are older homes. The wood's dried out. Stuff happens. We want to try to correct that. Door locks do not operate easily. Sheetrock screws on a security door, missing screws on a security door. And all of us are kind of scratching our heads saying, why are we missing screws? It all comes in a package in the box. No wind chain is also another common failure. We need to make sure we're putting closer and wind chain on that. Paint job on the corners. Missed parts, missed caulking. We need to make sure we kind of walk through and get all of that. Block and seal of AC unit. We haven't done a lot of those, but making sure that that's done, it's painted, it's tight, caulked in. Any others, guys? Wes, Reese?
Pretty much. That's about all I can think of.
Okay. Vendor application process. We take applications on a rolling basis all year long. You go on the website in the bid room is the contractor packet. It's got a whole bunch of pages. All of those need to be filled out and needs to be turned in as a complete packet. Incomplete packets will not be considered. You're going to get a phone call from Ann saying, I'm missing this, this, and this. So until that comes in, we're not going to get that. For some of the new contractors, I know you've been accepted. We're waiting on funding to come in for projects. We haven't forgotten about you. We've got you in rotation. We just got to get some work. That should be coming soon. And these are some of the things that are going to be in that packet. Most of you have already gone through that. Next slide. Invoice guidelines. I'm going to turn this over to accounting to let them come up and tell you what needs to be in it. This is very important. Probably the biggest and most important part of this, and I'm gonna say it, and I think Martinika's gonna reinforce it. Make sure that your invoices are submitted to AP at memphishabitat.com, along with Jennifer, and I can't remember who else is on it. And I'm gonna go throw something else out. It may help you in the long run. Feel free to include the 2 project managers on your work order with your invoice and paperwork. In the event that somebody's on vacation, it may be in an inbox if they're on vacation. If I see it, it comes in by the deadline. I'm gonna make sure it gets forwarded to the right people, or look at who it went to and make sure it got to the right place. So if you want to include me, not that I need more emails in my inbox, I promise I don't. But I'm happy if you send it to me and I can know that you've sent that in. And I can make sure that it gets forwarded to the right place so we can get you on the payroll site.
Good morning, everyone. And what I'm gonna do is pretty much, read through this, it's kind of self-explanatory, so. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask after I'm done, kind of going over what our requirements are. I'm gonna skip this first page, you guys can read that at your convenience. And I'm gonna go straight into the invoicing process. So, just like Ted said, all invoices are gonna be emailed to our AP email address, which is at that AP@memphishabitat.com. Your invoices have a deadline of Tuesday at midnight. So as long as you send it to us before midnight or by midnight on Tuesday, it will be paid on that following week. So I'm gonna read over this, just to give you guys an idea of how invoices, should be submitted, because sometimes I get them and they'll have missing information, like a missing date of service, or a missing description, or there could be several things. So just when you guys send over invoices, make sure that they have all of the things that I'm notating on here, because if they don't, I will send it back and I will ask you to submit a corrected copy, and that could delay your payment, okay? So it says all invoices will meet all the information below for process. Any omission of any of the items below will result in the invoice being unable, excuse me, to process, and a corrected invoice will be requested. All corrected invoices will be processed for payment according to the date received by our AP email and not the original date of submission. And that's key, because a lot of people will submit an invoice to me and I'll ask for a corrected copy and they'll count on the next following Friday to be their payday. That may not always be the case. It depends on what day you submit that corrected copy back to me. And then you would count your payday according to the day that you submit it back to me. So a key thing is the name of the company. Believe it or not, I get invoices that don't have a company name on there. No contact information. So if there's something wrong or something that I need, I don't know who to pay and I don't know who to call. So make sure that your invoice lists your company's name as well as any contact information that I would need to speak to someone who's handling, like your accounting information. And of course, I say contact information, invoice number. That is a key thing too. I get invoices submitted to me that don't have an invoice number on there. I can't process them without an invoice number. I need that invoice number so that we can keep a tally of how many invoices we processed and paid for you. And it also helps us to keep a fair accounting of what all we've received and keep you guys accounted for on what all we paid you. The date of service and the date of the invoice, they could be the same date or they could be a different date. You may work on a project on Friday and then you may invoice it on Monday. It's okay if they have different dates, just make sure that those dates match the dates for what you're putting the date for. So if you worked on it on Friday, put your date of service as Friday. And if you're invoicing it on Monday, you can use Monday as your date of your invoice. Another thing is the property address. You may want to make sure when you speak with Ted or Jennifer or whoever's calling you guys to go out on these properties, make sure that you have the correct address. Because I will send it back if it doesn't have the correct address, because I won't know what property to apply it to. Description of service doesn't have to be long, just straight detail on what you're doing, is good enough for me. A due date, that is key too. If you give us a net 30 due date, we will honor that net 30. So please keep in mind that if you put a due date on your invoice, I will honor that if it extends past that Friday, past that following Friday, okay? The next thing, the amount for, requested for payment, believe it or not, I get them sometimes as well, where the total amount that you guys are requesting to be paid is not listed on there. Make sure that that's clearly located somewhere on that invoice where I can see exactly how much you're requesting to be paid. Also, it says that, all invoices submitted in PDF or Microsoft Word format, no JPEG, Excel, et cetera, invoices will be accepted. That means that, all invoices that you guys submit to me, I really prefer for them to be PDF formatted because it makes it easier for me to get them in and get them out for you guys. If you send me an Excel or JPEGs I send back. But I will accept, if you have to send it to me in Word format or PDF, but my preference is PDF. You guys can, send it PDF. And also it says on here, if you're providing a service, please submit the supporting documents with your invoice. And so what that means is like for some of you guys, when you're doing stuff with TED where you have to do a change order or anything like that, just make sure those documents is also submitted with your invoices, okay? And the next thing, it says invoice processing policies. Invoices are due, submitted to our AP email by Tuesday midnight and paid the following, paid the Friday of the following week. And it gives an example, like for example, if you were to submit an invoice on, it says Wednesday, but it should be Tuesday right there. So you guys can cross over that, my apologies. And let's say it was February 10th of 2025, then you would be paid on February 21st of 2025. And I'll get you guys copies of our pay cycle for this year so that you guys can have a visual of what days you will be paid depending on how you submitted.
I think that's right. I think that's saying if you didn't do it till Wednesday, it's not gonna be the next Friday, it'll be the next Friday.
Yeah, it should be Tuesday on there because Tuesday is you guys' deadline, Tuesday at midnight.
Right, but I'm saying the 21st would be 2 weeks, so I
Mhm.
think that's saying.
It still, yeah, it
Okay.
still follows the same format. It's just that the date on there says Wednesday. So I don't want you guys to get confused and say, well, Martinique, I submitted it to you on Wednesday and it says that you're gonna be paid on Friday. Because if you guys submit it to me on Wednesday, it won't be paid that following Friday. It'll be paid the next Friday. That makes sense, because the deadline is.
That's
Tuesday.
what that says, though.
Mhm. Okay. Sorry, it's okay. Also, a thing to notice is if you are submitting an invoice for services that require an inspection, payment will be released when the inspection has been cleared for release of payment. So what that means is if you guys are doing something where Ted needs to go in, Ted and his team needs to go in and inspect the property, this pay date may not necessarily adhere. It depends on what date he releases the inspection, the payment, and says that, okay, well, the inspection cleared and you guys can go ahead and release the payment. So if it takes you a little longer, let's just say, for example, you send in your invoice and he hasn't had a chance to inspect it. You send the invoice in on time, but he hasn't had a chance to inspect it. You have to give him time to go in and look at it and make sure that the job is clear before we will release payment to you. So please keep that in mind. That is the only thing that will change your pay date. And then it just goes on to say, if you guys have any questions, you can submit them to our AP email. I will provide you guys with my personal email address if you have any questions as well. And then you can also call Ted or Jennifer if you have any questions, and they'll get in contact with me if you can't reach me, okay? Does anyone have any questions? Did I put anybody to sleep? Okay. That's it for me, Ted.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Okay.
Could you clarify, like, same definition on due date? Like, you know, you got the date that the invoice date of service, but due date, give me an example of due date.
So, for example, some of our vendors give us extra time. So even though I'm following this guideline, the due date could be You don't necessarily have to put a due date on there. You can, it has a due date, it says due date on there, but you don't necessarily have to do that because we're gonna follow this same schedule. What some of my vendors do, or some of their vendors do, is they'll put the date on there, like, let's say, for instance, they're following this same schedule. They submit their invoice by Tuesday. They know that they should be paid by that following Friday. Some vendors will go ahead and put that following Friday's date on there as their due date, for their invoice to be paid.
Oh, do they for the invoices?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement, and it has it on here. It's good to have it on there, but it's not a requirement if you guys don't have it, because I'm still gonna follow the same pay schedule. So that's why that verbiage is in here on the pay schedule. Does anyone else have any questions?
Most of the invoices that I've seen for AIP are marked upon receipt.
Mhm.
Some of the vendors, some of our suppliers, plumbing supply and things may put a net 15 or net 30. Don't put a net 15 or net 30 if you want to get paid the next Friday, but due upon receipt.
Yeah, because if I do see it, I will not pay it until the date, until I will honor the terms that you guys put on your invoices. So I have a question. If you guys submit an invoice, where do you send it to? Okay, and then what date is your invoices due? Y'all are on point. Thank you. Oh, I should have announced 10, you got it.
So Martin, talked about inspections. We will try to get an inspection within a day or two of getting your paperwork in. If there are corrections, we're gonna try to send those corrections out same day of inspection. You getting the corrections completed before the due date is imperative. We need to make sure the corrections are done, and give us a chance to go back out and re-inspect. Photos of the corrections are highly encouraged, because if something happens and we can't get back out there and it's something we can look at in a photo and say, yes, this missing part has been put in, this section that wasn't painted correctly is now painted, and we can't physically get there, we can look at the photo and say, yes, they've completed the corrections, we can release your payment. Okay, photos are critical. If we can't be everywhere at once. There are 3 people on the AIP team right now. There's a whole bunch of you guys and 3 of us, so we can't be everywhere at once. We're gonna do our best to get there and do the inspection. Sometimes our homeowners aren't available. We've had homeowners go into the hospital, be sick, they're not available for a week. We want to get you paid as much as you want to get paid. So if we've got photos that support everything that you've done, we're going to release the payment. We're also going to kind of be on the honor system at times. We don't do it often, but we know that you're going to go out and take care of it. We're going to get you paid. If there's a delay, we're not going to do that. We're going to hold, we have to hold your money. So photos are critical. You can never have too many photos. I would rather see 4 of the same thing than to go and say, I need this photo of the section around the corner and I can't see it. Okay, so photos are highly encouraged. What else we got? We're all one team. Believe it or not, we don't want any job to fail. It's much easier for us if we go on a job and find absolutely 0 defects. You have 2 project managers assigned to every job. There's a contact number, an email, a cell phone number. If you have any question during any part of the project, pick up the phone and give us a phone call. If we need to make a site visit and meet you out there to look at something, we're happy to do that. Let's figure it out before it gets done. Or when the wall's opened up, let's make a correction in a wall instead of saying there's a problem, we got to open something back, a brand new wall back up to fix something in a wall. We can't see inside the wall any more than you can. I've been in the construction industry for more years than I care to admit. I can usually guess what we're going to get into, but we can't cover every scenario. We're always going to find something in an old house that we didn't think was there. The reality is our houses are old. There's stuff in them that it's difficult. We had a phone call today from a contractor saying, I got to put cutoffs on and I'm afraid I'm going to break the pipe off in the wall. What do you want me to do? It's got an angle stop but no cutoff. Like, well, we're gonna give you a change order and eliminate the cutoffs, because we don't want to break the pipe in the wall, because that means now we gotta tear a wall out and possibly keep going. These old houses and plumbing, it could be a domino effect. We understand that. We can make adjustments if you talk to us. I think it says in there, phone calls and questions are free, mistakes cost money. Believe it or not, we want you guys to pass. It's easier for us if you pass. It's easier for our third-party inspector if you pass first go. It's easier for the city of Memphis inspector if everything passes first go. That means we don't have to go back and follow up on it. So whatever we can do to help you guys get your job done, we're willing to do that. I've been in the construction trade. I've been a carpenter. I've been a trim carpenter. I'm a home remodeling. I still have an active home improvement license in the state of Tennessee. So I've done a lot of the work that you guys are doing. I can usually look at it from that standpoint with that background, and we can usually come up with a solution that makes sense that will work. I've been known to pick up a saw and cut a piece of trim that had some weird angle on it because I've done it. It's sometimes just easier to do it than explain it. I'm not opposed to doing that. Sharon.
I was gonna say one thing, so with the GHA job, y'all won't technically know that it may be one of our jobs, but they are gonna be the lower cost ones. Our change orders, because we have this average cost, I have to get, if it goes over a certain dollar amount, it approved by HUD, so don't think that we're trying to delay a job on the change order. I've never had one turned down, so that's kind of a contractor choice. If y'all wanna take the chance, you're gonna get paid for it. Most likely, but there may be a chance that HUD would deny that change order because of the amount. And it does take a couple extra days, so I just want y'all to know, we've never had a change order denied, but sometimes if our GTR is out, it may take a couple extra days. And I know y'all want to get through with the job, but that's just something we have to deal with this one program money.
So that really kind of comes down to, and I know Jennifer is very good about putting that on the email with your work order. Evaluate the job entirely before you start. I think Sharon reminds me of a good point. A lot of the homes we work in are older homes, have one bathroom. We take the bathroom out of commission, we've got a problem. So we want to make sure that we have everything figured out, all your materials ordered and ready in hand. Have everything you need in hand before we take that bathroom out of service to try to minimize the inconvenience to the homeowner. I understand it's an inconvenience for everybody, and you guys are working as fast as you can to get it done. But there's only so much you can do. You have to go step by step. And we know that getting an inspection on a plumbing valve is going to add 1 to 2 days to the job. That's just the nature of what we're working in. We're kind of at the mercy of code enforcement. I don't have any pull on code enforcement. So we just have to kind of plan and kind of work that into our schedule and, try to logistically work through it. And the other part is, make sure we set expectations with our homeowners on the front end, saying, I got to take the bathroom, it's going to take me a week. And that way they know. The worst thing in the world is to have a bathroom that's taken out of commission and you don't show up until after lunch one day. They're going to go, why aren't they working on my house? Communicate with the homeowners, communicate with us. If there's something going on, the homeowner's not available for 2 or 3 days for you to start a job, send us an email. Hey, I contacted Mrs. Smith, and she's going to be out of town till next week, or she's going to be in the hospital, or something happened. I can't start for another week. That way we know. We're looking at our schedule, or looking at our spreadsheet, going, well, we sent them a job. Why? It's only a small 2-day job. Why isn't it done? Well, we know that there's a delay on the homeowner's part. And that way, we're not going, well, I wonder what they're doing. Why aren't they done? Communication is critical. It's a two-way street. Feel free to call us. If you call me at 6, 7 o'clock at night, I may pick up, I may not. Those of you that have done it, I may not answer, but I may text back. Or I'm usually in the office by 7:30. So if you text me at 7, I'm probably going to see it. So feel free to reach out. I've been known to answer the phone on a Saturday. If you're calling me on Saturday, it's probably not to check and see what I'm doing that day. There's something going on. Okay, I'm going to try to get you an answer. Okay. Sundays, probably not. You know, I will answer the phone. We're all available. You can try to reach us. There's usually, you know, like I said, there's a couple numbers. We're available. We're here to help you guys do your job. We're all one team. Together, we make that difference. We didn't do the projects. You guys are doing the work. We're just here to kind of facilitate. Okay, so together, we can make an impact in the city of Memphis and Shelby County. And that's the goal. And like I say, once I get some of these statistics, I'll try to send those out in an email just so you guys can see some of the things that are going on, see some of the comments that our homeowners are making, because it's not us. You know, they talk about habitat, but you guys are habitat. Okay.
Can I say one other quick thing? And
Yeah.
this isn't something, we can work through it, but if y'all are putting in a hot water tank, make sure you're not putting the temperature up scalding. Because our OT has to go back in and make sure it's not above 120. Because we don't want a full reflection of an elderly person being in the back when it's scalding. So just something to think about with these clients, because that is something we have to check before and after to make sure that the temperature is below that one, 120.
I think.
Yeah.
I think.
But just go, you know, if you're putting in a hot water tank, make sure you're not having salt water. Just something to think about.
What questions do you have? I used to have a geometry teacher in high school. The day before the test, he would kind of go over a review and he'd say, today's your day, tomorrow's mine for the test. So today's your day. What questions do you have for us?
I got one more question for you. Sometimes you put it on 140, and then come back to you with back in the house.
I know.
Yeah.
And if they change it themselves or whatever, we can't fight that, but just don't try your best to do what you can. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are gonna go in and change it. And when ROT does the final inspection, she's gonna go back and lower it again, and then they may hire it again, but just help us not have it decide. Yeah, I get that.
Question.
We're always managing our workforce and our students, allocating them to different jobs.
Yes.
and Things, what type of volume do you expect from you?
At this point, I wish I knew. We're really kind of waiting on our funding sources to come in. There's like 2 or 3 different funding pots of money that are supposed to be coming in. We don't have our hands on them. We don't have a signed contract. Once we get going and moving, I mean, we're usually sending out 4 to 5 work orders a week. And we do it on a rotating basis. So all of our contractors are in rotation. We just run down the list. So, you know, if you don't have a job or you should be close to done, you're on that list. If you've got 2 or 3 that are outstanding, we're not going to give you more. You're not able to keep up. Once we get rolling, I mean, the quicker you turn them back in, you're back in that rotation. So I'd love to tell you, you're all going to get 5 jobs a month, but I can't tell you that. It just depends on, you know, what our funding sources are. It's kind of funny. You guys want to get paid when you're done. We got to have money to do that. If you didn't want to get paid, we'd give you much more. We'd give you a lot more work. Nobody wants to do it for practice. You guys have practiced enough. You all want to get a paycheck. I understand and appreciate that.
Got a question from somebody you put in on. Is there a resource I can use to make sure my organization has all of the necessary licenses and certifications for the work?
Everything on that list, the valid contractor's license, all of your insurances, you need to have general liability, you need to have workman's comp, auto insurance. All of those things are required. Those are basically the requirements that are needed. If you've got all those things, we should be good to go. If I miss anything, Ann? License, insurances, and yeah.
What's required, briefing. And if they have any questions, they can always call.
Yes. AMetters@memphishabitat.com. I saw one here.
So I think I can kind of add on to that question. God, from the plumbing. I don't know plumbing line. Am I just gonna let you know, hey, I'm not certified in plumbing, pass it on, or are you gonna have a list of what I?
So normally our work orders are all, we send it out as entirely, if you have most people in here don't have a plumbing license, they have a licensed plumber that's part of their crew. They'll hire that licensed plumber to come out, pull the permit, do the work. So, our work orders are typically, we send out a work order to you. You're free to go out and evaluate it entirely. If you get there and you look at it and go, man, the money doesn't seem right, I can't make money. You're welcome to turn it back in and say, I can't do the job for this money. For the most part, our pricing is fair. We use a price tool that kind of gauges what the average price in this zip code is. And that's what we're doing. Again, I've done what you do, so I've got at least a feel for it. Going, I don't know if I do it for that, but we're trying to be fair, but we also have a budget that we have to keep in mind. So we're trying, overall, I have folks say, well, this item's not enough, but it's like, if you look at it as a whole, usually the job there's profit in the job. I mean, sometimes we miss something. I can't say that we're not perfect. If you guys get out there and look at it, if I get 2 or 3 people say I can't make money, then we need to go back and reevaluate. And we may have to pull something off to make it work. Any other?
Is it gonna be like a bidding process, or is it gonna be like a sign?
So our work, we send out a work order with a fixed price on it. It's already priced. Which, bidding would be, problem with bidding is we have to get 3 bids on everything. It would just slow us down to an absolute crawl. For the most part, like I say, it doesn't happen often, but most of our work orders don't get turned back in. Once you go out and evaluate it, there's profit in it. Occasionally, we're going to get, like I say, we're occasionally going to get that oddball that there's just stuff that we have no idea, and it's just, you're on the rotation. We may send you an email saying, we need you to give us a bid on this project. And that gives us a real number. Those are in the minority. They're probably, I'm going to say, out of all the projects we do over 200 projects a year. We probably send out about 10 of them per bid. So it's not on. And
I would think that you, if you get, let's say, back from, they can do that same for the job. How do you, service this company?
so you may have been out of the room, there's a rotation schedule. So there's a list, and that way we don't have favoritism. We don't handpick, well, this one I like this contractor, and this one I don't like. We go down the list. If you're the next name on the list, you get that work order. And there's, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. We don't say, this is a small job, let's give it to them, this is a big job. If you're the next one on the list, you get that job. You go out and look at it. You know what you need to make on a job. You know what you need to be profitable. I don't know what your situation is. If there's something that we need to talk about, give us a phone call. Hey, I looked at it, there's an item, maybe we missed some. You may look at it differently than we do. We're all professional people. We all have done this for a long time. So just a phone call. We'll usually talk through. Sorry?
How much for remote sensing?
We're not talking about those. Any other questions from online?
Can you repeat the website portal to get the contractor vendor application?
AMetters at memphishabitat.com. If you go on the Memphis Habitat website, go into the bid room, aging in place. It's also on the screen. You go in the aging in place.
The webpage.
Yeah, hey, Ted, just out of curiosity, how many contractors do we have?
How many new?
Yeah.
I don't even have a number of how many we've got. There's a
I
few,
feel a lot in Facebook, but
there's a few, and I don't, I'm gonna say, I don't know everybody. I probably talked to everybody in the room on the phone. It's good to see a kind of a face with the name. We're always looking for new contractors. I mean, that's just. My hope is that we can get a whole bunch of work, keep everybody busy. Other questions, Julie?
I want to just mention, is it okay if I speak briefly about this
The
new program?
transformation? Yes. So
Um,
this is part of our new home, but this is something that's kind of unique to Habitat.
Yeah, this is where we're asking y'all for referrals, and there may come a time, where you could bid on something for new construction. But we have a new partnership with the Tennessee Department of Health and GHHI, not Sharon, but the OT, the same OT that we use for aging in place is working with this new construction program. So basically, we're building custom homes for families that have some type of need for an accommodation. And it may be a mobility accommodation, but it may be something that you don't typically think of, like perhaps they have someone that is losing their vision or their hearing. And so they would need if their hearing is gone, something with the dimming of the lights if the doorbell rings. They may need a special outlet to handle the medical equipment they have. They may need special ventilation because of a respiratory illness. So they would have to qualify for all of our regular new home ownership program, which is on our website. All of those requirements. One of the things that sometimes is confusing, it says you have to be a first-time home buyer. And the definition of that is you cannot have owned a home in the last 3 years. And for some mobile homes, depending on the year they're made and the type of foundation, they may qualify too. But it's a great program. Once they're approved to the Habitat program, and they're interested in this program, then the OT will come to their current home and do an assessment and determine, what is going to make their life easier and improve their quality of life if we modify this home in a special way. Then she'll meet with our construction crew, and based on our budget and their needs, they'll prioritize, come up with a new plan. And after they move into the home, she'll go back, make sure they know how to use all of the modifications appropriately and do another assessment. And then we will have an evaluation piece so that we can evaluate the program and see, do these make a difference in their quality of life? And then we report back to the state. And we have 10 homes we're building now. And as soon as they're qualified, then we'll meet with the OT, and they still have to meet the requirements, but we're fast tracking those houses because we have a deadline. And then after this year, we'll be building another 10 of those units before the end of 2028, and we're hoping it will be a long-term program. But for right now, we're trying to find 20 homes. And if you have any questions, let me know. And all the contact information is on our website.
So if you know somebody, have them get in contact with us so we can try to get them paired up with an opportunity. Any other questions?
So these contractors have the opportunity to help them with housing? Or is that a different application process?
We have done the new construction general bidding. If they come across something that's going to require an additional, if the people that are in the new construction program now cannot do the modifications that we need in the home, then they would get that out.
New homes is a little bit different in that they have a bid room. They actually have items to bid on. It's a little bit different than aging in place. So If you're interested in new construction, you can go on the website, go into the new home construction bid room, and it's got items to bid on. You're welcome to submit a bid for those. I don't know, that's another director. We have two separate divisions, so I don't play in that world very much. New construction is nice and clean. We're not in that part. I like the older stuff, kind of like me. Marnica.
And I have a copy of the vendor pay statements to give all of you guys so that it takes away the work that you find here so that you're gonna be paid. So I'm gonna hand it out before you close that.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah, we could, we may be able to put it on the table. For those that have not signed in, there is a sign-in sheet. If you wouldn't mind signing in with your contact, it's a chance for us to make sure we have the correct contact information for you. If we've got an incorrect email or phone number, you're probably not going to get a work order. So it's a chance for us to double check and cross check, make sure we've got everything down. The joke here in Habitat is that I've been known to mix up numbers before, so all of them are there. They may not be in the right order, so it's a chance to make sure that we've got everything right. Any other questions? Well, again, thank you for coming today. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Enjoy National French Fry Day. They say there's free fries in places. If you find them, let me know. Other than that, thank you for coming, and let's go to work, make some money.
Yeah.
We're gonna get started.